Like 3 a.m. here, but I wanted to be done with this perfect X-Men movie. Yeah, old people pissing themselves. Peak cinema. This utter garbage. One, it is long. Two, it is kind of a road movie. Three, we have to suffer even more. Professor X and even Patrick Stewart or whatever his name is, he should just die. I hate him. He was terrible in Star Trek. He was terrible in anything he was in. Now let's see the timeline. It only refers X-Men 1 event. The plural is even debatable, as sure the Liberty statue, yeah, that's okay, but it says Logan was a cage fighter and a drug addict. How his regenerating factor should prevent him from getting coked up and especially getting drunk. But in this movie, he gets drunk. And the stupid adamantium poisoning. You know, regenerating factor? Unless the regeneration is also hurt by something, then I don't accept it. And you know, it says that in the last 25 years, no mutant was born. So we are doing movie recycling. This is a remake of Children or Child of Man. In that movie there was also just one child, so for the majority here also the other kids here are just, for fuck's sake, they really doesn't change anything at all. They don't add to the movie, so why are they here? And you know, the Children of Man was also just a remake of Shut 'Em Up. Yeah, the Christians hijacked Shut 'Em Up and made Children of Man, which sucked. And Logan is just a recycling of that. So Logan sucking doesn't surprise me. There are a bunch of little nitpicks which in a proper review I would go through, but let's just stick to the timeline. So the big thing is, okay, before the big thing, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Professor X. He got dementia. And for that, his psychic ability go haywire and is harming people in his vicinity. So he is taken care by Logan in some junkyard. Why? Seriously, tell me how this happened. Because Professor X was stuffed with incredible amount of money. He once wanted to retire, like, you know, in Days of the Future Past, and he could have lived in his mansion forever. So he is stuffed beyond belief. Why is he here? And even publicly, the public has no problem with mutants on this timeline either. Not to mention the First Class and the original trilogy timeline. So, why is he not taken care of by the government? Sure, he caused that whatever place mayhem where 600 human injured, 7 mutants dead. So, who cares? He's still the X-Men, leader of X-Men, leader of the Xavier School, and national treasure. Bring them to the middle of the desert and make something take care of him. Or, better yet, and this would work in this scenario where he's just stuck with just Logan and that stupid Caliban mutant from the First Class timeline. He's a different thing here, but the same power, but he's just a fucking vampire here. Anyway, why keep Professor X alive? Seriously asking. He's causing huge amount of problems. He's very expensive and he's very demanding to take care of. And what's the end goal here? Why not just take him out of his misery? Euthanasia would be the perfect thing here. By the way, this scenario is also another thing that you should register mutants. Imagine someone with laser eyes or plasma bands or whatever gets dementia and starts to kill people on the streets by accident. I mean involuntarily, because dementia. Now, let's go back and talk about the timeline more. So, why mutants don't get burst? Because the USA government put gene manipulated corn syrup into the food, which is actually something that maybe would work. It's a stupid idea to do that kind of biological weapon thing, but sure. Let's call it that. In this version, it never mutated to affect normal humans to start with the problems of this. But 25 years globally. So, how did you spread the corn globally in secret? This would require every government working together and everybody only using the gene manipulated corn. There just isn't enough time for this. Especially also taking the effect and so on and so on. This is too little time. And why would anybody agree for this? Of course, then they are keep doing the Weapon X program. They are at the 24th phase of it. By the way, with Weapon X24, why not cut off the head of that clone Wolverine? No idea. How the cloning adults thing worked? No idea. What? No, they don't have psychologists to tell them that the kid program, the X-23 program, wouldn't have worked because that's not how humans work. It's just stupid beyond measure. And the movie is, in general, pointless. It's a very nihilistic movie where even nobody gets what they want. Everybody dies before that. And let's say Eden is real and the soldier kids, weapon X-23 kids get there. By the way, they were supposed to be 23 at least, because Laura is X-23, but we never seen 23 kids. And on the postcard there was only 5 names, while we seen like 1,000 kids. But let's say they get to Eden and everyone is happy. No, the syrup won't go away. Actually, it can't go away. Because if you spread it globally, it's like soy in real life. Every soy that exists currently is gene manipulated because of cross-pollination. But there was one thing that I wanted to watch originally, way back when this movie got freshly released. I wanted to see for one thing. I knew that I don't care for the Old Man Logan's comic book storyline, and I especially gave up on the X-Men franchise at this point, the movies. This, from the trailer, it already looked shit, and it was shit. But there was possibly a redeeming factor, that would make me want to watch it. Like the new Fantastic Four movie. I wanted to see what they did with Galactus. That was it. That was enough for me to go on to streaming sites and check out the movie. I didn't care about it, but I wanted to see Galactus. By the way, that was also why I watched Silver Surfer. This movie will be crap because the previous movie of that was also boring crap, but I said, let's watch this for Galactus. And this is piece of shit. But if there is a good Galactus, I will say, sure, fine, whatever. Here, the soldiers, the mutant hunter squads, whose number is as many as the plot says they are, so, and these soldiers are dumb. They try to overwhelm the mutants by sheer number, and we know, and the movie shows us, that the professor, doctor, whoever, doesn't care if the specimens are dead or alive, so why bother? Why not just kill it? Why try to capture them alive? No idea. The movie has no idea either. But, and if you know that you are going against a Wolverine clone and shooting won't do a single thing, Why bring guns with you? And by the way, we are shooting so much in this movie. I have to point out one thing that didn't arise previously. The going in wound is always much smaller than the exit wound. Here, never. Also, if you bring dum-dum bullets which explode, or proper exploding bullets, that would help, I guess. And if you go for a regenerating specimen, why not bring a shitload of explosive rockets? You cornered it on an open field. Good. Bring a bunch of nets, and if there is a barn there, blow it up. Case solved. And why I antagonize Logan, telling him they killed Caliban when they didn't, by the way? Why kill the woman who were escorting the girl? These soldiers are very, very dumb, and they were supposed to be, according to the creators made interviews, they were supposed to be the Reavers. Now I met with the Reavers in the comic books. They happened when, during the Broken Stars saga, the X-Men resided in Australia and they kept dying, the members of the X-Men. And one time the Reavers appeared, came to attack them. They were military-grade cyborgs. Imagine something like Manborg or Robocop. Very apparently cyborgs. That is, one member has one arm as prosthetic, pretty average prosthetic. Now, the comic book variants were one of the guys didn't have his bottom half, and it was a tank with this conveyor belt wheels and all armor. The other had, I don't know, variable weapon hand, or robotic legs, robotics everywhere. Like, the closest thing the MCU has is Deathlock. Or the DC movies has Cyborg. Imagine something like that. These are losers. They are not the Reavers, and they are not called that in the movie. That's a relief. But that would have been the only redeeming quality here for me. And I don't even get that. And by the way, this is not continuation of the, what was that, Wolverine, the Wolverine's ending, where Magneto and Professor X meets with Wolverine and Logan, and they are developing a new weapon. Obviously they would have prevented the corn, GMO corn. And this is not continuation of the whichever movie they were putting in storage, the Wolverine's blood or whatever. Because there it was the Essex company, and this is transgen. Not the same thing. Entirely different companies. So Logan is its own thing, and that thing is pretty bad.